In this episode of the Exploring Information Security podcast, How to Network in Information Security, Part 2. Welcome to the Exploring Information Security podcast, where you will learn, explore, and grow your security mindset. I am your host, Timothy D. Block, and in this episode, Part 2 of How to Network in Information Security with Johnny Xmas, penetration tester for Red Leg. So how would someone get better at networking? So is there any kind of book or resource that you can point people to that would allow them to kind of maybe overcome some of these or just get better at, meeting and building relationships with people?
There's so many resources. And the bottom line is that networking, just human interaction, is an art. And like all arts, such as, say, learning a musical instrument, you're probably going to be not that good at it at first, and you need to understand that, right? and be okay with that, and be like when I think the vast majority of us have tried to play guitar at some point and picked up a guitar and gone, oh, I'm terrible at this and I can't learn this, and now a lot of us can crank out a few songs on a guitar. Because you practiced, and that's the key to it, is practice. And it seems like such a weird thing to practice, because it's not like I can pay some guy in a music shop $20 a week for me to come in for a half hour and learn some things. You're practicing is literally using other people to practice on, and you're dealing with living, breathing human beings and screwing up and creeping people out, and it's a really difficult realm to practice in. It's the only way you can practice is trial by fire. It's one of the only arts where the only way you can practice is by displaying your art to your critics. It's like if you're learning to paint, and every day when you tried to get better at painting, you had to go down to the mall and set up in the food court and just start painting. And everybody coming by is seeing what you're doing and yelling terrible things at you. And so it's difficult in that regard, and it's real easy to get demotivated, because it's one thing if you're trying to play guitar and it's not working and you just put the thing down and you go, I'm bad at this, and you walk away. It's another thing when you have a poor reaction from another human being whom you're trying to get to like you. That makes you feel horrible. And so it's really hard to get motivated to keep at it. But practice is the key, and the upside to that is you'll actually get pretty good at it really fast, because it's something we're actually naturally good at. We are social animals. We evolved that way. It's required for our existence. It was required for us to be able to even stay alive. Meeting people from other tribes and sharing information and making friends in those other tribes was critical to the survival of the human race. And that was, 16,000 years ago, and that number varies every time we find a new corpse somewhere up in the mountains. But long enough ago to where evolution has been able to pick that up and ingrain it inside of us as a part of who we are naturally. So what's happened is, in the modern realm, we've pushed that part of ourselves down with our Netflix and our PS4, and not to disparage those things. I absolutely love my Netflix and my PS4, but and that's what I mean. Like, I understand how hard it is to get away from those things. Like, it's so hard, like, to put pants on and go outside, and because nobody likes pants,
right?
Nobody likes pants,
right?
But like, and at the same time, like, nobody likes pants, and yet if you go outside with no pants on, you are shunned. You are that weirdo, no pants, even though you're going like, none of you like pants, and that's
No Pants Con. Go to No Pants Con.
Yeah, you can stop. You could put a hard age limit on that.
Yeah.
I'll speak there though. I'd love to just put that on my World Tour T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh man. And that's a whole nother topic that I don't even know if we'll have time to get into about.
Right.
society's rules and playing the game. But because that's such a natural part of us, this whole socialness and being social and making friends, you'll find that once you start practicing, it actually is something you're naturally good at. Like people always tell me, like, "Oh, it's easy for you to say those things and tell us what to do. You're just naturally good at it." And the truth is, absolutely not. No, sir. I still hate meeting strangers. Like I'm still really shy, and people just blows people's minds. Like Johnny Xmas, guy who spoke at 13 conferences last year, is shy. Yeah, I'm weird with strangers. I'm bad. I make bad first impressions, and I know that that's a problem with me, and it's something that I actively keep in my mind and work on every time I meet a new person, and that's a big part of it. Know where your flaws are. Know where you keep screwing up, and that means when you did screw up, when you had some bad social situation and someone got mad at you or wasn't paying attention, think about what happened and maybe what went wrong. And it's not always your fault, but 90% of the time, even if it's not your fault, you can still save it. And some percentage of the time, it is actually your fault. And so you need to you got to go back and look at, all right, where did that go wrong? And don't hate on yourself for it. Just go, where did that go wrong? Maybe I shouldn't have been so forceful with this or that opinion, and bring it back a bit. A lot of it involves letting go of your pride and accepting that, that not everyone's gonna like you, and that's okay, and that you're gonna have to work with that because the goal is to make everyone like you.
Right.
And so you gotta, make a lot of compromises, and then the next time that problem situation comes up, you try something different and see if that works, and you just constantly practice. My problem with meeting strangers is I come off really harsh and kind of a dick, and it's not because I'm pompous or am self-important, because God, that's not true. I struggle with self-esteem issues daily. It's more that I'm just very curt. I don't. I'm a bit more direct than I should be when the relationship hasn't evolved to a point where that level of directness is appropriate. And what I'm really trying to do is push the relationship to that level of comfort, and which is inappropriate. You can't force it. And I have this problem with trying to just make it happen because I want it. I want everyone to be that comfortable with me. And so it comes off poorly on the front end. And I know that. And now when I meet new people, I practice that, and I try to be more friendly and not so forceful. And it's all that. And it's all constantly keeping an eye on what you're doing and what went wrong, and then going back and practicing it again. And I think that it sounds like it's way harder than anyone would want to bother putting effort into. But in reality, you can get really good at networking, at making acquaintances in 24 days. And that's based off of, I'm saying 90 days of weekends. It's a summer of saying, hey, I'm going to go out on the weekends, or I'm going to go to, this weekly security sec meetup and then somewhere else, just 2 days a week. And that's another big thing. Like, you can't do it every day. You can't be out practicing every day. You'll burn yourself out. You have to do other things. And so I went from awkward, conversationally impotent agoraphobe to a person who could speak on the topic of networking in a summer. And I'm not just, and you can write me off as like a severe example, but I've done it with other people. I've watched it consistently work with other people. And I've the only time I've seen it and seen anyone fail at it once they've started practicing consistently was when they refused to get out of their own way, when they were not doing the what went wrong, what did I do to cause it to go wrong, what should I do next time part. When they just kept practicing the same bad stuff, that's the only time I've ever seen anyone fail.
Right. Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to add on, which you've touched on, is just there's probably always going to be awkwardness. There's certain people you're going to click with, and other people that you're just going to have an awkward interaction with.
Yeah, absolutely. And that and that might get repaired in a future interaction.
Right. Absolutely.
I have a few people that I had one, and I won't call him out. One guy at DerbyCon who I've had awkward interactions with every time I've run across him, even on Twitter. Like, we just never clicked. Like, we were constantly stumbling over each other, and he did not like me, because I just I clicked with all the wrong ways with this guy. And then at DerbyCon, we actually had to there was a topic going on that we both had a lot to say on and a lot of experience with, and we ended up swapping a lot of stories and sharing information and having a lot in common. And now we're talking regularly on Twitter. And it was just interesting because before we didn't get along, and sometimes it takes a while with certain people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you got to understand that it's not going to work out with everybody right away. Right. Don't get discouraged.
Yep. That's one of the things I've seen is that, like, I've maybe like talked to someone at one con and didn't get into like an in-depth conversation, just kind of met them, and then like at the next con there's a deeper discussion. So that's that goes right along with what you said here.
I hate that, like, all of my advice on this is always like the generic Mr. Rogers, like, don't get discouraged and be your and you can do it, and it's really easy if you try. But like, unfortunately, that's the truth.
You just got to get out and do it. Like you said, there's no other way that you can really you can't get better at this just sitting at home. You have to. And
if you're ever at a conference, listeners, if you're ever at a conference and you want me to prove it to you, and you want me to show you how to do it, like, I'll introduce you to somebody and get a conversation rolling, show you how easy it is. Like,
that's the other thing, is that once you start building these connections, through those people, you're gonna make more connections, and through those people, you're gonna make more connections. So
absolutely. Once you get comfortable with having conversations with people you don't really know, that confidence goes the longest way. Confidence is key. Mm-hmm. Confidence is one of the things that instantly bumps up how much people like you. Just their perception of how confident you are in yourself goes a massive distance. And so the more you're comfortable with just talking to strangers, the more naturally confident you'll be in yourself and what you're saying, and the more they'll like you and want to speak with you just because you're a more confident person. And there's been a trillion studies on that.
Right.
That really, confidence is key. And that's what the practice does. All the practicing is really for is just building up your confidence. You will always fail. You will always have failures. But if you're confident enough, because you've had a lot of successes as well, it's not going to be an issue, and the failures aren't going to stop you from continuing to try to have those conversations with new people and keep them in your repertoire.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's a good ending point right there. I really like that. So that's Johnny Xmas. You can find him on Twitter at J0HNNYXM4S. That your name always screws me up because I start typing in Johnny, and then I'm like, I got to remember that you're a zero.
It's Johnny Xmas with a 0 and a 4. It's Leet. Yep. Leet Johnny Xmas. I'm a pen tester. I have to do it.
Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
I would be remiss if I did not plug the company I work for, Redleg with 2 G's, REDLEGG, redleg.com. We're an MSSP serving wherever and whatever you need served. We do blue team and red team, and I'm particularly fond of our red team, and not just because I'm on it. And that's all I got.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me to discuss how to network and information security.
All right. Thanks a lot.
And that will do it. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, drop me a line on Twitter at TimothyDBlock or email me at timothy.dblock@gmail.com and let me know what you didn't learn, and we'll try to cover it in a future podcast. Show notes can be found at timothydblock.com/EIS. If you enjoyed the show, share it with others and rate it on iTunes so it can reach others trying to explore information security. Have a good one.